If you're into Game Boy, there's a good chance you'll like my new Neo Geo Pocket Color series too. Every Thursday I'm reviewing a new Neo Geo game. Just join the POCubed Patreon or become a channel member here on YouTube. The Xenites are back, and the very fabric of time is in danger. 5 time bombs have been planted at various points throughout history. Only you can save the day, not to mention the universe. A port of the legendary, in certain circles at least, Amiga version, Xenon 2 is a vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up with 1 or 2 really standout features that give the game its uniqueness. The game may be slower and somewhat stripped down from any home computer or console port you might have played before, but that was almost always the case with Game Boy versions, for obvious reasons. Over 5 varied levels, you must fight your way through hordes of enemies and projectiles to a mid-level boss, after which you can visit a store. Each stage has a mid-boss, followed by more scrolling level and finally an end boss. The standard enemies are quite small, but their appearances are still diverse, even if they do occasionally blend into the scenery. The boss fights themselves usually revolve around taking down parts of a stationary monster or machine while trying to dodge the crazy number of bullets on screen. While in these maze-like auto-scrolling sections, you might fear that you're going to get trapped or destroyed. Well, that doesn't actually happen here. If you get to the end of a corridor, the scrolling will stop. You can now hold down on the D-pad, which will pop the ship into reverse gear, allowing you to go backwards. This is also possible when fighting the bosses. If you feel like the real estate you have to work with is getting a little cozy, just edge to the bottom of the screen and keep going. You'll back up, giving you much more room to maneuver. Killing things will often lead to credits dropping that'll stay on screen for a short while. You do well to collect as many of these as you can, because a large part of your chance of success comes from how much you can upgrade your ship. There are 2 opportunities per stage to visit Colin's shop after both bosses. You'll first be asked whether you want to sell anything. Don't flog parts of your ship off by accident here, because they cost more to buy back. But, you're not obliged to anyway. It's the second screen you're interested in. Depending on your bank account, you have a ton of upgrades to go after, and the cool thing about Xenon 2 is they're permanent. You don't lose any upgrades should you die. They'll be installed on your ship, and you're good to go. Choose from speed upgrades, a rear and side shot, or double shots that augment your base weapon. You don't have to pick one either, they'll stack with each other. You can also install 2 lasers, one either side of your main hull, which rip through everything in their way. Missiles and landmines can be added as well, and should you run out of things to stitch onto your mutated looking ship, you can then increase the power of all of these weapons. The one you really want to go for early on isn't even that expensive. The energy ball costs something like 2,500 credits, but gives you this detached, invulnerable node that you control with your movement. It'll shoot off in the direction you move, but faster obviously, and will destroy anything it touches. This is especially useful if you can plant it in place on a boss's vulnerable area, as it'll rapidly tick over damage, enabling you to make quick work of them. It's not the easiest thing to use, because to keep it in place, you also have to stay motionless, and moving it means you're taking your eye off your own dodges. But it might be worth it if you can tank the hits in the much shorter time it'll take to wipe out the boss. It is a little disappointing to listen to, especially with this franchise's pedigree with music, as there's only one song throughout the whole game, a poorly programmed rendition of the BGM from the original. The snare of this track is the same sound effect as the weapons as well, at least until you upgrade them, which makes the whole sound of the game really confusing. A real black eye to an otherwise damn good shoot-'em-up. One thing that'll take some time getting used to is the size, as well as the sheer volume of the projectiles. This is a tough shooter, probably the closest you'll get to a bullet hell on the Game Boy. Surprisingly, all this was achieved with barely a notion of flicker or slowdown, which is incredibly impressive, and which might speak somewhat to the reason that the sound quality is quite low. An overabundance of sound effects can actually induce lag on this system. The backgrounds are non-existent, and the foregrounds are kept to a minimum for the more intense sections. Honestly, you'll be grateful that they are. You've got enough to focus on.
If you play a death groove, it's guaranteed to make the party move, so I roll around slowly at my own pace. Hit the studio and bomb the bass. In a sound room, facing a microphone, waiting for the volume to bust through the headphone. Said they need a funky sound, so I brought it, and as that sound comes through, they record it. Press it in next week, featuring Marlon. A drum beat a flame, the lyrics are burning. Let us advance, blow the amplifier, bomb the bass with the new rap messiah. Marlon's exciting, for the enlightening. Beats are for music and rhymes are for writing. I'm a slave, a prisoner, a captive chapter 2. Megablast as I burst through the chapter. Dance boy, ain't it better dance fast? M-E-G-A blast, M-E-G-A blast. Shows the raw energy on the streets. Beats from old and past combine together to make this beat. Anything the music does, then you do it. When you feel a different vibe, then pursue it. Top class, rhyme fast, no guy can pad. Face the bass, homeboy, it's a Megablast.